Sing along now. 3, 2, 1, go.
Lumos Maxima.
Thank you for coming and tuning in to this MNP live stream. Today we are celebrating Christmas in July.
Yes, correct. Sean.
Cheers! So we have these special little drinks that we have concocted out of cherry 7-Up, whipped cream, vanilla ice cream, and a little bit of love from Sharon Cherry.
If only we had our streaming deck over here. Just press a button and it just reverses the camera around.
Delightful.
It's good.
Very nice. Also, for lunch, we watched Home Alone 2 and a nice cheese pizza all to myself. Well, I shared it with Max and Norm and everybody, so that's besides the point. So, let's go to Norm for a very heartwarming story.
Yes, there's a guy named Peter Mutabazi, and he was born on the border of Uganda and Rwanda, basically in the middle of nowhere. At the age of 10, after having a kind of a hard life up to that point, even being abused, he left home at 10 years old. Fortunately for him, he was found by a good Samaritan who took care of him and got him to England, where he went to school, graduated from university, and came to the United States. While he's in the United States, he was part of the Christian group. Was it United Vision? World Vision. And they take care of disadvantaged children all worldwide. Well, that was Peter's job. He did quite well for himself there. And his heart kind of turned to himself being involved in helping children personally through the foster parent program. He's a single parent, so he can only take in 2 children at a time. And he did that. As a matter of fact, he's done a total of 13 children so far. But this one time, he took in a child who had had a rough life himself. His birth parents had given him up at the age of 2, and then he was adopted. And then when he was 11, they just took him to a hospital and left him there. Well, he actually took that child in as a foster child and had him for supposed to be only a weekend. But he really connected with that child. They connected with each other. The child called him Dad from the very beginning. So as time went on, Peter decided to adopt this child. His name is Anthony. And in the United States, it takes 6 months to adopt a child. You got to be a foster parent for 6 months. So they had time, and they did. They continued to live together for the 6 months. Peter adopted him as of November of last year. And also, they're continuing his heart for children with the COVID-19 thing came. He actually had another child brought into his house, not necessarily to adopt this child, but another child that he could help. So he has 2 children right now living in his house. One is his adopted son. And this COVID-19 thing is part of the impetus behind that. So it's a great story. And what you may have surmised, but I didn't say that, but Peter, he is Black. He's from Africa. And his son is white. And Peter's saying is you don't have to match to be a family. Hey?
That was a very, very sweet story. Speaking of sweet, I have a nice little Christmas song. Not very sweet until the end because I remixed it. But here is
Uh-oh.
my version of Last Christmas. It's just shorter. Thank you.
Yay,
Now let's
movies.
go to Max for 2 stories.
More, please.
One is a selfie that'll keep you looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life. Another, well, a sweet build guide.
Yes, so we do have a couple of pictures for my story. Yeah, selfies at MNP, yay! But we do have a story about a bear in Mexico. So one day these girls, and I think their father was there, they were hiking, when all of a sudden a bear decides to come over and check things out. Well, the bear proceeded to climb up one of the girls, but instead of freezing, she took a selfie. And we do have a picture of that selfie.
Somewhere.
There, a bit further back.
I got it.
Yep.
That's the
Keep
selfie.
going up.
It's okay, but
Yep, there we go.
That's the bear at the top.
And now for the joke of the day. How many people does it take to get a picture level on a camera?
by the way, just letting you know, that bear is pretty small, but it can let you do some damage. Another thing, I forgot what I was going to say. That's why I just had to come up with that.
Okay. Now, just a quick notice at MNP, I have been accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, hence my wand. I will now make the lights turn off. Nox. Or Lumos Maxima. So magical. Anyway, now it's time for today's When is the Hanukkah and August show? I don't know.
By the way, Max,
Sean.
how on earth did you get the Elder Wand?
I was supposed to know.
Oh.
Anyway, it's
Sorry.
time for today's build guide. So today's build guide is a mix of RGB, power, and storage to create you an editing workstation that not only looks flashy, but will cover all of your storage needs for probably, depending on your type of camera, the next 4 years, maybe more. Depends on what you shoot at. Like 4K at 60 FPS, that'll probably last about 4 years, 6 years. Anyway, our processor choice, we're going with 10th gen Intel i9, which is an Intel i9 109K is how I'm going to say it. I don't know how to say it because 9900 is easier to say than 10900. Anyway, it's a 10-core processor, whereas 9th gen was actually an 8-core processor, so they added 2 cores for pretty much the same price. So it's really a no-brainer decision. And it also goes to 5.3 gigahertz at an overclock. Yes, I'm correct. Now for our cooling, we went with an RGB liquid cool, not full custom water loop, but we did go with some liquid cooling. So a Corsair iQ H150i. It's an AIO cooler, so that's nice. And I mean, it's 360 millimeters, so it should do a good job. Yes, you might need a translation. Now, for our motherboard, we wanted to be able to overclock so we can get that nice, juicy, lots of gigahertz. So, a Z490 motherboard was 100% has to be on our list. It also does have an RGB header if you get the Asus ROG Strix. So it's got everything you need. Now for memory, we wanted fast memory along with a lot of it so that we can transfer files easily and maybe even have some form of DRAM cache if we wanted to. So bearing that in mind, G-Skill's Trident Z RGB, 128 gigs, checked all of our boxes. It's DDR4, runs at 2666 megahertz, and there's 128 gigs. Yay! And then now it's time for some storage. So for long-term storage, we wanted something that would last. Hence our, 5 Iron Wolf Pro 16 terabyte drives. Now, is this overkill? Yes. Do you need that many drives? No. But if you're shooting at 8K, you do. So that will last you, 2 years before you have to upgrade again. If you're shooting at 8K.
Please note, that means you might be spending $5,000 every 2 years.
Well, no, that's the price of everything else, remember?
Oh.
Yeah, no.
I thought you'd just get a new entire computer.
$2,500 on just storage. So take that out of the picture.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, but those are slow. Even though they are 7,200 RPM drives, it's still slow. So you needed a solid state drive. Okay. How does a Team T-Force Delta Max 1 terabyte RGB SSD sound? Very colorful, and it's an SSD. Have you ever heard of it besides the rehearsal?
Yes.
When?
In the rehearsal.
Now, editing power was important to us. So we wanted not only fast memory and fast processors, but also a fast graphics card that can support everything. So we went with a Gigabyte GeForce RTX 2070 Super. It's an 8 gig video card. But wait, there's a slight twist. There's 2 of them. So you have to get an SLI bridge as well. But more on that later. Just kidding. So we have 2 2070 graphics cards, which should absolutely crunch numbers. Now, our case, we chose one that had space for a 360 millimeter water cooler, had room for other fans elsewhere, and had tempered glass side panels so you can see the RGB. So you pick. Now, of course, our RMX or RM 1000X would suit this build just fine, which is why we chose it. It's a bit longer than normal power supplies, but it's 1000 watt, 80 plus gold, and it's fully modular. Okay. Now for our extra fans, since our case came with some fans, we're going to replace them because I think they were not RGB. So Thermaltake has awesome fans. So we went with Thermaltake fans. Now, unfortunately, they don't make a 4-pack with Thermaltake. So we had to get 3 in 1. And I'm not even sure if they are the same fans. But who cares? So the grand total for this build was $56.67. That's in the thousands. There's 95 cents. With shipping, well, shipping's all free on everything. So, yay. You don't have to pay for shipping anymore.
Wingardium Leviosa. So me and Snowman say goodbye.
I think Vector actually had a message.
Oh.
Maybe. Oh no. Merry Christmas, MNP viewers. Thank you for joining.
Merry Christmas.
That is
Christmas
a lot
in
of
July.
nuts.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
That's a lot of nuts.
Stop.